Welcome, everyone. Today is Monday, February 24th, 2025, and this is a regular meeting of the City of Asbury Park Planning Board. Chairwoman Kurzak, can you please call this meeting to order?
This meeting is being held in compliance with the Open Public Meetings Act, Chapter 231, Public Law 1975. Adequate notice of this meeting has been provided to the Coaster and Asbury Park Press by publication of the annual meeting notice and posted on the municipal bulletin board and municipal website. All notices are on file with the board secretary. Official action may be taken at the following matters before this board. This meeting is being recorded by APTV. Please join me in the Pledge of Allegiance. Pledge allegiance
to the flag of the United States of America, to the republic which stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
I will now take roll call. James Bonanno is absent this evening. Councilwoman Clayton? Here. Jim Henry?
Here.
Jeremy Hoffman?
Present.
Mayor Moore?
Here.
Jen Souter?
Here.
Daniel Shinameo?
Here.
Bob Zuckerman is absent this evening, and Catherine McLaughlin.
Here.
Vice Chair Mike Goonan?
Here.
Chairwoman Barbara Kurzak.
here. All right, we have our first item is a resolution for 316 Main Street, for the 316 Main Street amendment.
Okay,
Anyone?
Eligible members are Daniel Shinameo, Mayor Moore, Barbara Kurzak, Michael Goonan, James Bonanno, Catherine McLaughlin, Bob Zuckerman, and Jeremy Hoffman for motion and second.
All right, can I get a motion to approve the resolution?
So moved. Second.
Michael Goonan. Okay. Daniel Shinameo,
Yes.
Mayor Moore,
Yes.
Catherine McLaughlin,
Yes.
Jeremy Hoffman,
Yes.
Vice Chair Mike Goonan,
Yes.
and Chairwoman Barbara Kurzak.
Yes. Next item up is 512, 514 Summerfield Avenue.
Okay, I've reviewed the notices and packets, they're all in good order, we have jurisdiction to proceed.
All right, great.
Good evening. Andrew Karras on behalf of Sackman Asset Management, LLC. This shouldn't take very long tonight. Just a little bit of a review of what we're here for. The property at issue is 512, 514 Summerfield Avenue, Block 3101, lots 2 and 3. It's in the CBD redevelopment area, the mixed-use district. What we are proposing is an interim parking lot as permitted under the CBD redevelopment plan. An interim parking agreement has been entered into with the mayor and council, allowing for it as required, again, by the CBD redevelopment plan. It provides for a 1-year interim parking lot with the option for 2 additional 1-year terms. What is being proposed are 19 parking spaces in this parking lot. One thing I do want to bring to the board's attention, this is only interim. I will be filing with the board within the next 30 to 60 days an application to develop this lot, or lots. There are 2 lots combined. As a result, we're not looking to make any significant revisions to the property, additions to the property. We're looking essentially to use it as is, macadam that is on there, it's striped. There is some buffering that we can add to it, but as far as any significant revisions to the property, we're not looking to do that in light of the fact that this will be a redevelopment site, again, with an application coming in the near term. With that being said, I have one witness tonight, our engineer. You can come up, we can go through the plans that have been prepared and presented to the board, going through what is there, what is being proposed, and how the lot is going to be utilized.
We have the interim parking agreement copy, signed copy, let's enter that into the record. If not A1, we'll make it B1 for board 1. And that's signed, let me identify it for the record, interim parking agreement. It says the blank day of blank 2024, however, it appears to have John Moore's signature, witnessed by Anthony Cucci, deputy clerk, Carter Stackman, managing member of the LLC, and it looks like Francis Blake of the state of New York, a notary, notarized that. So let's make that B1. Any objection?
No.
Sorry, yeah, I plugged it in, I don't know if there's
You know what, I could have.
There we go. Good?
Yes.
So please raise your right hand. You solemnly swear or affirm that the testimony you're about to give in this matter will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth. Please state your name for the record and spell it.
Ian Burton, IAN, BURTON.
Okay. And why don't I swear in my staff too? Solemnly swear, affirm or testify. I swear or affirm that the testimony you're about to give in this matter will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth.
I do.
Please state your names for the record and your affiliation with the board.
Donna Miller, board planner.
Thank you.
Sam Lockyer, board chair.
Thank you. You would think I've done this before. Once or
Few
twice.
times.
Just once or twice.
Few
Thank you.
thousand times.
Right. Okay, go right ahead.
Ian, can you please give the board the benefit of your qualifications?
I'm a site civil engineer, I work with Mid-Atlantic Engineer. I've been with Mid-Atlantic since 2020.
Keep the voice up, please.
Oh, sorry, yes, I've been with Mid-Atlantic since 2020, and I've been licensed in the state of New Jersey since 2017. My license is active and in good standing.
Have you testified before boards before as an engineer?
I have.
Have you testified before this board?
I have not had the pleasure.
Welcome to this board. All right, you can have a seat. All right, I'm going to ask you what is up on the board. Can I identify that?
Yes, this is our boundary and topographic survey.
Is that part of the plans that were prepared relative to this application?
Yes.
What I'd like to do is mark the entire group of plans as A1 for identification. There's the 23rd, 24th. All right, taking a
Today's
look.
24th.
24th?
Yes.
Oh, I'm sorry. Dig behind. Taking a look at the topographical map that is up on the board, mark as A1 for identification. Can you please go through that for me? What we're
Sure, so this is the view of the project site as it stands. It's at the we're near the intersection of Summerfield Ave and Emery Street. It's known as it's known as 512 and 514 Summerfield Ave, known as Block 3101, lots 2 and 3. It consists of approximately 0.13 acres. It is an existing parking lot with 20 spaces. Currently, it's 19 spaces. It used to be, or historically was 20 spaces until last year when we installed the transformer in the northeast corner.
Okay, so existing there are 19 spaces, correct?
I believe so.
Is there any landscaping on the property?
There's a row of some short pine trees in front of the transformer along Summerfield Avenue.
And that was done as a result of a resolution that allowed for that transformer on the site, am I correct?
Correct.
Is there any other landscaping that is existing on the site?
None existing.
But some can be put in. If we look at the northwesterly part of the property, there is a strip there where by that last space we put some landscaping in order to block any views of that parking lot, am I correct?
That's correct.
Okay, we have no issue with doing that, am I correct?
Correct.
In terms of the actual ground, the surface, that is a macadam lot?
Yes.
Okay.
Pavement.
Pavement.
Asphalt.
It's the old generation.
Aging myself. And there, as indicated, are 19 parking spaces. What are the size of those spaces?
Sorry, I'm actually jumping ahead, but I can switch to the next sheet is our proposed plan,
Okay.
which would show the 19 spaces. We have, of the 19, 16 are 16 feet long and 8.5 feet wide. The remaining 3 are 18 feet long and 8.5 feet wide.
And that is what is being proposed, am I correct?
Correct.
And what about the aisle?
24-foot drive aisle with an existing 16-foot curb cut onto Summerfield Avenue.
And a design waiver would be required for those parking spaces that are not of the 18-foot aisle, am I correct?
Correct.
And that's what you're requesting, am I correct?
Correct.
Do we show any landscaping on this page of the plan?
As previously indicated, we showed the area in front of the transformer along Summerfield Avenue as the currently landscaped area, but no other proposed landscape.
But we'd be willing to put in order to block any views of the parking lot, landscaping again on that last space on the northwesterly side of the two lots adjacent to Summerfield. Am I correct?
Correct.
And that is what is called for in the interim parking agreement. Am I correct?
Correct.
In terms of lighting, is any being proposed for the site?
So we're currently not proposing any of those. Admittedly, there was some shown in the site plan that was submitted. We're not proposing any lighting.
And that's in light of the fact that an application is going to be coming in to develop this site within the next 30 to 60 days. Am I correct?
Correct.
There is some existing lighting, though, that shines onto this parking lot, correct?
Correct.
And where is that and how much light?
So there's one street light, overhead Cobra lit in Summerfield Avenue. There's a number of, I'm going to generalize and say wall pack lights on the building at the corner of Summerfield Ave and Emory. There are a number of kind of area lights above the doors in the rear of the building to the south. And there are two, I'm going to call them bright wall packs along the building on the adjacent parking lot.
And is that sufficient in order to light up this parking lot in the interim basis, saying that it is an interim parking lot?
Yes.
What about, are there any garbage cans or anything on the parking lot, or have those been removed?
There are currently, and they will, but they are proposed to be removed.
Okay, so there will be none on there when and if this application is granted, am I correct?
Correct.
What about stormwater management? Is anything being proposed right now?
There's no proposed stormwater management.
And that's as a result, again, of an application coming in to develop a lot, which would then cause stormwater management system to be developed, am I correct?
Correct.
That's really what is being proposed with this site right now. We're not looking to do anything else to the lot, again, based upon the fact that it is going to be developed with the building at some point. I've gone through the reports that have been presented by Vakian and CCH, and I'll mark those as the Vakian report B2, is date 2025, and that report is dated February 5th, 2025. There's a CCH report that'll mark as B4, 224-24. We've had a chance to go through these two reports, am I correct?
Correct.
And you've gone through and indicated, again, there's not going to be any stormwater proposed for this site in light of that hopefully be developed in the future, am I correct?
Correct.
You mentioned the design waiver, am I correct?
Mm-hmm.
And you're not proposing any additional lighting in light of, again, the potential development of the site, am I correct?
Correct.
And that's really our application. In terms of the comments in the reports that talk about lighting and all, we're not proposing it at this time. It is interim. It's only a one-year agreement that can be extended for 2 additional periods of 1 year. But the site's going to be developed.
All right. No, go ahead.
So it's throwing a wrench on our end, or my end at least, because if you look, naturally, what I was going to ask for is, the parking lot to be resurfaced, which you see in the letter. That was due to stormwater runoff down draining to the southeast corner. However, if you're going to submit a new application, that would be up to the board to decide if that is in need of repair or remediation now. The parking sizes, they testify that they're going to come for that design waiver. They are insufficiently sized for a traditional parking space. Traditionally, you want 18, the Asbury ordinance asks for 18, there's 16. Just to play devil's advocate for my own self, providing 24, if an application does come in, providing 24 feet for an aisle is sufficient. So if you do have some extension, you can look at that. And as far as the lighting, I would just ask that you just, I guess, if the board wants a lighting plan to be resubmitted, if you're taking those lights out, we would ask that.
Well, what is existing, we're going to leave.
We're just gonna leave it, right?
We're going to leave
So,
it exactly.
Again, so like what we reviewed, Don and I, and the board saw is a proposed lighting plan that I guess is just removed altogether.
That is correct.
Yeah, so if it was the board wants.
Now, I can represent the application for the building that my client is going to be proposing for this site. It's just about done. I should have it in within, I'd say, 2 weeks to the Director of Planning and Redevelopment. I'm giving myself 30 to 60 days, knowing the back and forth that ordinarily takes place. But this is a development site, so.
All right, so pretty much, if I can summarize, I just want to make sure I understand it properly. Everything that both our engineer and our planner have brought to the surface, you're pretty much saying you won't do.
Yeah, I mean, it has in there pole-mounted lights, and we had actually proposed originally to do that, but we're not going to put pole-mounted lights in there, 3 of them, that are going to be taken down. It's a great expense to do those for a parking lot, and then take them down a year from now.
Okay, so once again, nothing that, all of the issues that were brought up, you're not going to do anything
We're
about.
not proposing it.
I'm just asking.
Yeah, it's lighting was the main one.
Lighting, stormwater,
Well, we have a lot
the
of
size of the parking spaces. The stormwater is going to go into someone else's lot. If it's the way that it's graded right now, it's going to go into the next lot,
According to Sam's report.
according to Sam's report. So,
Can I,
go ahead.
so, I don't know if you want to, I don't want to screw up the process here. I know you said only Ian was going to testify, but perhaps you have the knowledge to speak to who's using the spaces.
It's dictated by the agreement.
So,
And what's the agreement? Who's using it?
Tenants. They're tenants of,
Sacman
Sacman,
and his
yeah.
subsidiaries.
and its related entities.
It's
So,
basically all those buildings that adjoin to the west.
yeah, and we have to provide, under that agreement, reports to the city about the use of that lot and the tenants that are utilizing that lot.
Okay, so,
Right.
Go ahead.
Section 5, page 2, entitled Restrictions on Use of the Parking Lot. The use of the interim parking lot on the property shall be restricted to use by the residential tenants of buildings owned by the owner and/or by Sacman Enterprises and/or its related entities. The owner shall not let, lease, rent, or convey any such spaces to other developers or members of the general public without the express written consent of the city.
In addition to that, there's an annual reporting requirement in section 7 to
That's
confirm
number
that.
7, yes.
and so what happens when your next development comes up and you're short on parking? Are you going to be, let's just say that you don't have enough parking spaces.
We're not short on parking.
I'm saying on another development, a new development that comes around, let's say you need 20 parking spaces, you only have in that development 15. You have to pay 5 parking spaces into the city coffers.
That's correct.
And that is still true even though you have these, if this gets approved, even if though you have these. Is that correct?
So what Madam Chair is asking, I believe,
You
is.
can't use them for future projects.
You're not using them for future
You're not going to
projects.
try and offset your parking requirement
Oh,
for
no.
a future project.
No.
Okay, I'd like to still put that
Yeah,
into
that's
the,
fine.
That's
into
Plus,
there.
as I discussed with you, I understand under the CBD plan, you cannot do that without a prior written agreement with the city.
That is correct.
Right, so by law, you can't do that.
Okay.
That's fine.
So my understanding is, this will get, if we approve, it's for a year, but you could come back and ask for
We can get 2 one-year extensions.
2 one-year extensions.
Correct.
So if you don't do these things, the problem is, if you don't do the things that we say we want done, I know you're saying, well, it's gonna be developed, but then, a year forward, you come back and you say, well, something happened. And, we don't have those improvements.
Yeah, but the mayor and council, then, they can go ahead and say, okay, they can do a number of things. They can say, we're not going to extend it because it requires their approval to do it. They can say very simply, we're not going to extend it unless you go back to the planning board.
I have another alternative. We can get Carter to tell us what your plans are. If within X amount of time if you grant them what they're requesting, if the project doesn't move forward within that time, you'll have to come back and then do the.
Well, that's why I indicated that my plan is to get the application in within 30 to 60 days. We can put something in there if an application is not submitted within that period of time.
Use a trigger factor.
Yeah, on
I'm
that,
fine with
just on, if we back a little step for a moment, just so I can understand the timeline here. This seems to be very conditional on with the submitted plan, which have no reason to doubt you are going to submit the plan. My question is, based on the submitted plan and the timeline to develop that, how, best case scenario, your plan gets submitted, that we don't have in front of us and we approve it, how long are we talking about that there'll be no improvements to the site?
You're asking me basically to bang my head against the table right now.
Well, give me a time frame. I mean, that's what I'm trying to figure out. But you're asking us in all fairness.
I'll tell you, do you want me to be honest with you?
Yeah, please.
I submit an application and I get incompleteness letters. It could be 2, it could be 3, it could be 6 to 8 months. It could be 1 month.
Sure.
Before it's deemed complete, and then we start getting before the board.
So what I'm trying to figure out here, in all fairness, you're asking for permission to kind of not make any improvements to the site, which I don't have an opinion of right now, but worst case scenario, and best case scenario, how long is this going to be at the parking lot with none of the lighting or anything else?
I would love to say that when we get this application in, to develop this site as a building,
Yep.
that it's going to move quickly, that it's going to be deemed complete, and we're going to get a hearing, and then we'll go through the hearings, make whatever revisions, and then 6 months from now, we have completed application. I wish I could say that.
No, fair enough, but I guess in some ways, it's been said because it's up to 3 years, right, with the 1 year renewal.
Well,
So
it's
in
actually,
theory,
it's 1 year.
1 year of 2
And
1 year
then
renewals.
the city council,
Yeah.
mayor and the city council have to agree to extend it for each additional year. It's not an automatic
No, I
extension,
understand that, but a maximum of 3 years.
maximum of 3 years.
That's what I'm just trying to.
And even the redevelopment plan has in there a maximum period for interim parking agreements, which I think may be 5 years. Yeah,
May I
but
throw-
Thank you, just wanted to understand the timeline.
In that vein, if we go with the year, from,
Well, you kind of have to.
go with the year.
We have to.
And, we'll go with the year, and if ground's not broken and there's no real good reason for not being done, you gotta come back in.
Well,
and they're gonna-
listen, we have to go back before the mayor and council first.
Right, so,
But the odds of ground being broken within a year. I mean,
okay, so then it's
we know.
gonna take longer than a year.
It's going to take, so ultimately, we're going to move diligently forward with the application. I can only speak for how we're going to move forward. But if a year is up, we have to go back before the mayor and council to get that extension. So,
John, what are you proposing as the trigger? The submission of the application?
Yeah, well, the 1 year,
Not
at the
breaking.
expiration of 1 year, for example, when it goes before mayor and council, we put in the resolution that we're gonna want them back. And, if it's gonna be another year or 2 years, you may very well say, no, this isn't short term, this is 3 years, you gotta make these improvements. I
Yeah.
mean, if it's 60, 90 days, that's one thing. 6 months, whatever, something, the board's never been unreasonable, as long as I've been here. And,
it's getting to the board and then.
I know,
after
I'm
it
talking about afterwards, I'm talking about from date of approvals forward, going forward, then it's on you to do your
The
post-compliance.
resolution compliance.
And then get all your various approvals from other agencies and the like. But we don't want to be stuck 3 years from now with not having this done.
No, I get it.
Am I characterizing it correctly? Okay.
Yeah, thank you.
So likely, they come back in a year with an extension, and the improvements are not gonna be made. Not gonna-
There's no way they're going to be made. I mean,
No,
So, all right, so at least
what
you're being
I'm saying
we're
to
going to have to
you is,
come back.
if you come back in a year and they're still not made, and then you ask not to make the improvements again, you're
And we very well-
You're probably gonna get a no.
well, number one, you can't prejudge it, all right? And number two, I can tell you right now, I've never seen where an application is submitted and then all of a sudden we're developing and breaking ground in a year. It just-
So realistically, it's going to be longer than a year.
So realistically, we're going to have to go back before the mayor and council. The application, they'll be moving on dual tracks, we'll have the application moving as quickly as we can to develop the site. But I anticipate at some point in time, we'll have to go back before the mayor and council because hopefully we'll be done before the board. I can't say that we will be, but we may be in resolution compliance at that point.
In your experience, would you say it's likely that this is going to remain as of today, a parking lot as is for at least a year and a half?
I'd say 1 to 2 years exactly. I don't believe 3 years. Usually we're looking at around 18 years.
Okay,
I'd say do the improvements.
that's up to you guys.
I'm sorry, what was that, Dan?
I would say if it's gonna be a parking lot for 2 years, do the improvements.
So I feel the opposite way. I hate parking lots. I think I've spoken on this many times. But in this case, it's a parking lot already. We need parking downtown. It's going to be redeveloped. Why ask them to spend money for something that's already there? We have parking lots all over the place. Why ask them to improve this thing for a year or two? They're asking us for a year, right? And they're saying they're going to redevelop this within a year. So why ask them to spend the money on something that's already there?
Yeah, but aren't there requirements for parking lots? Certainly like being,
Yes, in my report, I lay out all the things if you're doing a real live permanent parking lot.
There are.
Landscape.
Dan, and as much as I hate parking lots, if this was going to be here for 5 years, or this was just going to be a parking lot that was going to exist in downtown, I would be barking that I want this to meet everything. They're asking to just let cars park here for a year until they redevelop it.
It's a year and a half is one thing, 3 years. That's what I'm trying to think through, is like, is there a tipping point where that becomes a greater consideration?
Well, you control it because we have to go back before the mayor and council.
Yeah, that's what I was going to say, is like, if they have to go back before the mayor and council, I would say, I mean, for me, it's just a parking lot. If they have to get reapproved in a year, I would say, I would want as a condition of our resolution to say, when they come back before the mayor and council, we recommend that the council only extend this if the applicant has made a good faith effort to move forward with the redevelopment. And if they haven't, then it needs to come back to us and maybe we reject it then, reject the extension.
I have no objection to it.
Sam, I have a question for you. As it stands right now, is the lighting adequate on a temporary basis?
We haven't seen that lighting plan, so the lighting
No,
plan.
not a lighting plan, the lighting that is actually there on the site.
I haven't seen it. Yeah, so what was proposed?
It exceeds.
Yeah. what was
It exceeds
proposed-
the level.
Yeah, well, that was what was proposed exceeds the level, yeah. So what they're saying is that the 3 poles that they proposed, or the 3 mounted lighting fixtures, are no longer gonna be a part of this application. They're gonna use what's there naturally. I have not seen that.
Okay.
Take a break and walk down there
Yeah,
now.
right, yeah, that's all right, yeah.
So I don't understand. So are we saying that the plan that we're looking at is not the real plan?
Yes, for lighting.
Well, it was
For the lighting, but
It
the
was
layout
a
is.
proposed plan, but in light of the fact that we're now going to submit an application to redevelop the site, we're not looking to spend the money unnecessarily to put these pole-mounted lights in.
So on your item, Donna, number 14, where it says the illumination exceeds levels,
Yep.
are we saying that number 14 should be eliminated?
It's irrelevant.
Is it irrelevant? Is it truly irrelevant?
Yes, because that's based on the lighting plan they're showing in this plan, which is 3 new light fixtures. And they've testified, we're not doing 3 new light fixtures.
Okay.
So now we don't have that lighting. So
Okay.
it's not too much.
No, okay. So what else?
What we don't have on this lighting plan is an understanding of how much light is really coming off those wall packs on the adjoining building.
Yeah.
And how it affects, how far it extends onto this site. So we really can't, like Sam said, we can't say if it's enough.
Okay. All right. Is there anything else that should be removed that's been presented to us besides the lighting?
From the plan?
From the plan, because I'm going on what I read,
Yep.
and I'm
I
reading.
agree with you.
So is there anything else that has been removed?
I think only the lighting.
Correct.
The lighting.
Just lighting? Okay.
But on the plan,
Bollards are there.
you've agreed to install a planted buffer on the
Yes.
northwest corner.
Correct.
Right, okay, so that's not on the plan.
Correct.
So
And
that would have to be
that-
added to the plan,
Yes.
okay? Now, and we can move on from this if you still say you're not doing anything. But I'd like to know, we have issues with the compact spaces, a design waiver is required, It says you're only supposed to do 25% and you're doing 84%. So are you still saying you're not going to change that?
Well, I don't,
They can't change
we
that.
can't change it.
Why can't you change it if it's a
Because-
compact space?
The-
You can
There's not enough
restripe
room
it.
to
There's not
not
enough-
do a compact space.
Sorry?
There's not enough room to not do a compact
You'd have to
space.
eliminate spaces in order.
Oh, yeah,
Yeah, so it could
Yeah.
feasibly.
Or the drive aisle.
Well,
yeah,
Or reduce the drive aisle.
right, or reduce the amount of spaces. Okay, so your stance is still you will not do any of that.
We're not proposing any revisions.
I'm asking, will you do it?
It depends what you're asking for.
I'm asking for you to do that, for us not to have to do a design waiver.
I don't know how we do this without design waivers, because you don't have enough width on the parking lot.
To bring it down to how many spaces? If we did it, how many spaces would it reduce to?
I'm not designing it for you, but what could happen is if you eliminated the west side, theoretically, hypothetically, you're losing 10, you still have 9, you'd have 9.
But to eliminate
lose
half the
10
parking spaces doesn't make any sense.
Okay. Okay. Does anybody else have any questions?
Just the cans, I mean, this is very minimal, but the cans, are they, where are they gonna go? If you're using
We're
them
moving them to
just somewhere else, okay, so that's,
Yeah, I made sure of that today.
And is anything going to happen to that pole that's, what was it called? There's a ballard that sits in one of the spaces. Is anything going to happen with that one? Because that makes the space even shorter.
It does, yeah. But it'll be.
That's staying as is. There's a ballard.
They're there now, yeah.
The foundation for the light pole.
No, I think, unless I'm.
Oh,
unless I'm
and the bollard
misunderstanding,
too? Oh, yeah, these two over here.
Yeah, there's,
No, I think there's utilities or something on the
I
other
believe, Ian, right? Do you mind?
Sorry.
pointing-
Yeah, because that just makes the space even
To the
shorter.
south, the east portion of the building in the corner.
Yeah, I think there may be utilities, and that's what they're protecting.
All right, so then we have, those spaces are even shorter spaces.
Yes.
Sorry, give me 1 second.
The shorter spaces are a concern. My main concern right now is like, without a lighting plan, with the lights there now, is it safe for people to park there?
Right.
And that's like, how can we,
We don't know that.
right, how can we okay a plan and then 6 months from now, or 3 months from now, 2 days from now, something bad happens because there's not enough lights there to protect your tenants or whoever you're going to let park there?
Is that an open parking lot or is there a gate?
No, it's open. I mean, it's an existing condition that's been
Yeah,
there
that's what I thought.
for
Yeah.
God knows how long.
If you just zoom in on the east
They
side
get-
of the parking, on your plan.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Take a 10-minute break to jump down and look at it.
There's the east side of the corner lot right there. I think it's just, it looks like it's blocking the stairs. Yeah, right to the left, you're going left. Those forced 1, 2, 3, yeah, that's, Barbara, that's what you're talking about, correct?
Yes, the ballard.
Spaces.
Gosh. Yeah, but yeah, blocking that staircase.
Because
So
that was,
Those are there now, they will.
I'd feel
remain
safer.
as per what-
If we took it away.
I mean, if that's something that we would like to do, that's fine. If that would help them make a decision,
What's that?
the lighting,
Take a
to
short
take
break
a
and have
walk over to see
Sam
what the
and
lighting's like.
go down there and see what the lighting is tonight.
Sure.
I think if it's good, it'll put me at ease. I mean,
I mean, it's subjective, I mean, you can't.
it's not
You don't
30
have a light-
degrees
I don't have my
out,
light
so.
here with me, sorry.
No, it is subjective. It's definitely subjective.
Or we come back with a lighting plan.
Yes.
Do you want to take a look at it? And then if it's insufficient, then we can add some wall packs up there.
I personally would prefer a lighting plan, but if everybody would like to go take a walk, I'm happy to take a walk. Because, to be quite honest, I'm against this to the start, so a lighting is not gonna change my mind. But I'm happy to take a walk, if people would like to do that. And I'm only one vote, so, if people would feel that that would help them feel at ease, and that would help move this project forward, and that would change their vote, I'm happy to take a walk.
It would put my mind at ease, but
That's fine.
I'm not going to walk down there and look at it because I'm going to let the engineers and the planners go look at it and tell me it's enough.
All right, you guys want to take a walk over?
Take a ride, take a walk, take whatever you like.
Yeah, there's plenty of parking spaces.
There's plenty of parking over there.
You can park in the parking
All
lot.
right, we got your permission.
You want to make a motion to take a break?
And then-
Yeah, motion to take a recess.
So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed?
I'll
Ayes
let
have
you
it.
guys go.
Hey, guys, see you when you get back.
I'll take roll call.
All right, so we're starting.
You doing this now?
Ready? Councilwoman Clayton? Here. Jim Henry?
Here.
Jeremy Hoffman?
Still here.
Mayor Moore?
Here.
Jen Souter?
Here.
Daniel Shinameo?
Yeah.
Kathy McLaughlin?
Here.
Vice Chair Gunnin?
Here.
Chairwoman Kurzak?
Here.
All right, we're here.
Back on
All
the
right,
record.
does somebody want to testify as to what happened?
Why don't we first hear from Ian and then Words Professionals?
Yeah, so we walked over, and there were 2 existing lights on this, let's say, the Lot 1 building, like 516. There were 3, I would call them area lights over each of the 3 doors and the 3 stories for Lot 11, 408. And then there were 2 wall packs on this adjacent building midway and 2 down on the south.
That's pretty, so it's on the south building, so it's on someone else's property, not this property, it's on a different property.
Correct, sorry, it's the east, but yes.
Okay, it's on a different property, okay.
And then there is one Cobra light, I'm gonna call it, street light within Summerfield across the street from the site.
Okay.
Don't have light levels. Subjectively, it appeared adequately lit. Subjectively.
I do agree, but Barbara said it, the only thing is that the site does not have any control over those lights. Subjectively, I do think that it's well lit. I wouldn't have a problem parking there myself.
Okay, so the actual parking lot that we're talking about, no one has control over those other lights.
Correct, yes.
They're all on different
Yeah.
buildings.
Well, no, on,
Carter owns those 3 of those buildings.
Today,
he owns them now.
just saying today.
He owns them
Well,
today.
yes, but yeah, we have control over it. So as we sit here today, there is control over those.
Over all those lights.
What are-
Except for the one,
3 of the 4.
yeah, that's marked adjacent, I guess, to the
East.
east.
If we wanted to, could we make a condition of the maintenance of the current lights by the property owner, which is the shared owner?
Sure. Yeah, that's fine.
Does anyone have any board members have any other questions or any concerns that they would like to, I should say, do you have any questions for the engineer before we get to anything else? No one else has any other questions?
So you were satisfied with the lights, huh?
I don't know if I'm allowed to testify.
That's up to
Yeah,
Jack.
I'm gonna ask
You're not
Jack.
testifying, but you're giving us your comments.
I'm gonna give you
No objection.
my opinion is I feel like the lot is adequately lit for parking. I would be comfortable parking there. I feel like as it is right now, I feel like it's adequately lit.
Okay. Does anybody else have any other questions of the witness? All right, I'm going to open it to the public. Does the public have any questions of the witness? Okay. All right.
Witness is excused.
Witness is excused. Does anybody have anybody on the board have any comments that they would like to state?
Before that, why don't we open it to public comment?
Let's open it to public comment.
Hearing none.
Motion?
So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Hearing none? Nobody's
Motion to
here?
close.
Motion to close.
Second?
Second.
Got that? All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Ayes have it. Okay, now, comments by the board.
Okay, any board member would like to make any comments? Any about the approval of this or non-approval of this parking lot?
Well, I think that we should, Jack was talking about putting the trigger.
Yeah, I have a few things that throw out there, and you decide what you
Okay.
like.
May I ask, Jack, before you?
Yes.
Where are we, so it was a 2-year lease?
1 year.
So 1 year
1
lease
year.
with 2 one-year options.
Right,
But at
and
the end
that's
of
their
each
own
year-
mutual they
Yeah.
have to be extended only on mutual consent.
Yes.
It's not a lease, it's a one-year interim.
Like
One year.
license or whatever.
Oh, yeah, 1 year interim, I'm sorry, one mischaracterization. 1 year interim
Yes, that
parking
was-
agreement. At the end of the year, they have to go back to the mayor and council
Right.
for any extensions, and they can have, according to this, up to 2 one-year extensions of the agreement.
Okay, so we're now in the first year or?
Yes.
It
entering the
begins
second?
upon the approval,
Yes.
if the board approves it.
Thank you.
And just another question on
Yes.
process, whatever. I think somebody said earlier that the maximum amount of time that you can do a temporary parking lot in the development district is 5 years? Did I hear that right?
That is
I
correct.
don't know.
In the CBD plan, it permits up to 5 years. So the governing body decides how many they're willing to
Yeah,
grant.
so can they, so I understand the council has been authorized 1 year plus 2 one-year renewals for a maximum 3. Is there a scenario that could arise just in terms of like powers and process where they could be granted subsequent extensions to go past 5 years? Or is 5 years the maximum cap?
They would have to do a new agreement. essentially.
No, we would have, if we wanted to go beyond the 5 years, it would have to be a plan amendment.
Yeah,
Okay.
I think
Okay, that's what
it's
I'm saying.
definitely
No, the answer
5,
is-
yeah.
it's not
So
simple.
worst case scenario, well, that's depending, I don't want to opinionate the scenario, but the maximum, it could theoretically be beyond what the council approved is 5 years.
Under the CBD redevelopment plan, that is
Yeah,
correct.
3, and then up to 2 more with a plan amendment, which is.
No, it's beyond 5 is a plan amendment.
Okay.
We were granted 3, we would have to go back before the mayor and council.
Yeah, yeah.
But the max we can get is an additional 2 more years.
Right, okay.
Thank you.
Okay, I have it, I'll go through the simple ones. Trash cans to be removed. Applicant will install landscaping in the northwest corner of the property adjacent to Summerfield Avenue. Obviously, send that over to Donna for review. And existing lighting, property lighting should be maintained by the applicant during the term of the approval. I also came up with that the applicant will file the application for development of this property within blank days. File, not
Submit to the city.
submit, yeah, file.
Why don't put 60 days?
Okay, 60 days. I also put in that when the project goes to council for any extension, that being the first, second, or third, the board requests the council ensure that the site is developed as soon as possible. Well, I may go a little further with that. Or in the alternative, send the applicant back to the planning board for reconsideration of the site plan waivers and exceptions previously granted for compliance with the ordinances, applicable ordinances. This thing's gonna turn into a 3, 4, or 5-year deal. I don't think the board's gonna wanna give you.
Why don't we put some, we'll proceed diligently
Yes.
with the application.
Yeah,
That's
so
fine.
this way you've got something, we put in the resolution, we send it over to council, even though we have 2 council members here, that says, look, we gave him a pass, but it's not an indefinite pass, please, when you reconsider extending this thing, make sure you can put their feet to the fire in the development of the property, and if not, send them back over. And we'll do what we have to do, and then however long it takes them to develop it, it takes them to develop.
That doesn't bind the council.
No, we really can't tell the council what to do, but it sure puts them on a hot seat. In a very nice way, of course. Makes them accountable, let's put it that way. And.
Jack, just for clarification,
Yes.
if this goes to the council for any reason, the council has the authority to send it back to the planning board
Yes.
for review of the waivers and stuff?
Yes.
I believe so.
Under this agreement, the council could say, look, we'll extend it, however, you gotta go back to the planning board and comply with this ordinance, it can't remain the way it looks. Or, if you don't complete the project in 180 days, whatever it is, then you're you're mandated to go back to the planning board for site plan approval.
Okay.
I will say that the thing that I find a number of issues with this, and this is my moment, that an applicant would come here and say, we are not going to do anything. My opinion, my comment. Anything based on what our professionals have suggested. Outside of landscaping and obviously removing some trash cans. I have a problem with the parking, the compact parking, how much is being requested, and I have a problem with the stormwater. That's me, that's my comment. And does anybody else have any comments that they would like to bring forward?
So I will say I have the same problems you have, compact spaces, stormwater, but I also have a big but, which is even though I have those problems, they're asking for a year. And I am inclined to say it's a year, they're gonna develop this. I would much rather see this developed quickly into something else. So I'm inclined to say for a year. Those things, though they bother me, they don't bother me enough to say no.
The other part is that why would it not get developed anyway?
Well, my point is they're planning this, yes, you're absolutely right, but they're planning to do something with it. So by saying, yes, this is okay, we're basically just saying, yeah, you don't have to invest and change this lot that you're gonna redevelop in the next year or two. We're not gonna make you spend money that doesn't need to be spent when you're planning to do something with it anyway. I feel like I would love to see this have landscaping, bigger spaces, but like, to what end? We're gonna make all these changes and then they're just gonna rip it up 18 months from now? Seems wasteful.
Okay. Anybody else have any other comments that they would like to say?
I think what I'm struggling with on this is the length of time. You know, we've already established it's not going to be a year. And so we're looking at 18 months at that. So that's what I'm struggling with. So I look forward to seeing the actual language of the draft resolution and see to what extent that placates my concerns. But there's a big difference between 18 months and 3 years that could become 5 years, and then maybe more if there's they go and get the plan amendment. Just given projects you propose, they don't always get developed, market conditions can change, this and that. That's the uncertainty is what gives me pause. But I agree with the idea of not having it, if it's really 18 months, not making invest money, that's going to be torn out 18 months.
Is there something that you'd like to ask Jack about that, or
No,
to help you?
No, I think
Okay.
we talked, I just want to, I look at the ceiling language of drafts with the, back to the.
But just so that we're clear, is that what Jack draft, you're already voting
Before.
before you see that.
Yeah, no,
So as long as you're okay with whichever way you're gonna go, that's fine. I'm just saying,
So the resolution, the provision you're putting in there to submit within 60 days.
Yes.
So if they don't submit in 60 days, what happens? They have to come back to us?
Yeah. Yeah, the approval, that's a condition of approval. And they can't go forward with the project if they don't comply with the conditions of approval.
All right.
He has to come back. Very nice way.
is everybody okay to vote? Do they have all their answers to all their questions? Okay.
Anyone want to make a motion?
I will make a motion to approve this application with the conditions Jack specified.
I'll second it.
Who was the second first? Was it Jim Henry first?
Mike and John.
Mike and Jim.
John, okay. Okay,
Okay.
roll call.
Councilwoman Clayton?
Yes.
Jim Henry?
Yes.
Jeremy Hoffman?
Yeah.
Mayor Moore?
Yes.
Jen Souter?
Yes.
Daniel Shinameo?
Yes.
Kathy McLaughlin?
Yes.
Vice Chair Gunnin?
Yes.
Chairwoman Kurzak?
No.
8 yeses, 1 no.
Thank you very much.
Okay,
I expect actually within a week to be submitting that application. I just wanted to make sure my plans are all set, but they'll be in very soon.
you know how we feel, so.
Okay. All right, thank you. Have a good evening, everybody.
Thank you.
All right, got a motion to adjourn? Oh, wait, so what?
Meeting?
The next meeting is 1 week from today, which would be March 3rd. We discussed that we would be canceling that. If you do
If
not
there's
have-
nothing, because we were waiting to see if anything would have to be held over from today.
Correct.
And there isn't, and we've already passed all the deadlines for all the paperwork, so.
Correct.
3-3 is canceled.
3 is canceled? All right.
Day off.
And then we'll see you all March 17.
Okay, motion to adjourn.
Motion to adjourn? St. Patrick's Day. Okay, second?
Second.
Okay, all in favor? Aye. None opposed? All right.
I just realized.